everybody. Welcome to Survivor JJC. There's no music this week. And this week, we're not JJC. We're more like Survivor JAKS. I'm Jamie.
Ooh, I'm glad there was another A there.
Jax.
I am Jamie. You guys can introduce yourselves.
I'm Shandy, and I thought I was supposed to do the music.
Oh, yeah, where's the singing?
Well, we can do it now.
We can all sing.
No, keep going. It was great.
I'm Spence.
Yeah.
Really nice. It was very good.
It was very good. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Christy.
All right.
It's like a full estrogen episode today. Woo!
It's all the ladies. We've merged some of the broadcast with some of the tally of the votes.
Can I say that I do think, though, that this female alliance actually has legs? I think
Yes.
we can do this.
Yeah,
Very
this is
stable
the one.
ones at that. Very nice.
Yeah.
We are the 1%. We got this.
We got this.
Well, Jack and Colleen jumped overboard somewhere around Japan. But no worries. We're going to steer the Survivor steamboat right into the Isles of Fiji and cover this week of Survivor 48 episode, A Rift Between All of Us. So thank you guys for being here tonight. How is everyone enjoying this season? What do you think?
I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like it so far. There's a couple of ways that like things could go that I'm like, I might not be super jazzed with that ending. But so far, I've just been really enjoying the ride. It's been a fun cast.
Yeah, I've liked the cat. Who are some of your favorites? Who are everybody? Who is your favorite? What's your one person that's your favorite?
Oh dear.
I'm not saying right now because I'm like, Jamie can totally read me.
Just look for the twinkle and you got it.
The one that has the twinkle is the one you wouldn't think has a twinkle. I think it's Mitchie.
He's
such a cutie.
He's really
it's
sweet.
just such a good guy.
Yeah.
I
feel like sorry.
I know. I like that this episode he like had to like yell at himself like Mitch.
You do belong.
I could totally
you do belong at the lunch table. I really like Mitch.
It's hard to pick just a one because like I'm with Colleen. I really liked Say. I thought she was a lot of fun, and maybe she burned a little too bright too fast.
She was a firecracker for sure.
Yes, but like she was
Zero
great.
breaks.
I love Camilla. Like I'd be very happy with a Camilla win. Also, of course, Kyle, but I tend to like the ladies. I love Star, but like she's not winning the game.
She doesn't have screen time.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I know. That's why I'm like, just from the edit alone, like she's not winning the game. But I also really like Mary. I am not a fan of David, but it's so smart of her to align with him. So like kudos to her for that. I think she's had some really good gameplay. Like I had to remind myself that her shot in the dark hit. Like that's why she's still here. That's crazy. I mean, it's part of why she's still here, but like, yeah. So there's just a lot of people.
I feel like if they
can
great. Get rid of some of the
meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I would really love to see Mary and Camilla like team up because I like both of them a lot, and I think
I do too. I really love them.
I like them both.
I love every shot where it's like got all the big guys, and then there's Camilla and she's just so tiny. And I'm like, they'll never see her. She could dodge and weave around all of them. She's got this.
And so can Mary.
Yes.
And so can Mary,
We've seen her run.
I want to see them. When she took off from Say, it was like the highlight.
Oh my God, that was the best.
That's really good.
5 minutes of television I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. I love all of those people, probably the most in the game. But I think Camilla and Mitch are probably the ones I like the most. And then Mary's right up in there too, I think. Like those are the people that my heart wants to win. I don't know if they will win or not, but that's who my heart wants.
Which is why I knew you could read me. Anyway.
Which one of these people play D&D? That's the one.
That's the one I'm gonna like. Yeah.
Do you knit or crochet? Do you play D&T? Do you enjoy a vampire novel? That's my winner.
You got me. My ride or die. Thank you.
No, I really have liked a lot of the players, and the ones that I didn't care for the most are kind of already gone. So I'm like, this is great. I love watching these people every week because
That's true.
with the exception of one or two of them that I'm like, nah, but
might be time to go.
Yeah, it has been more enjoyable for that very reason. Because, I am a novice. I am new to this. This is only my second season watching. Since the very beginning. I used to watch way back when. But it's like, I feel like it was very crushing the last season because it was like I'd get attached to someone and then they get voted off.
Well,
like,
from the get-go.
Right off
my
the
favorite
bat.
person's voted off every single week. And like this week, I'm like, oh yeah, no, they can go. I don't like them anyway.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
She's getting Survivor jaded. Look at her.
Yeah. You're taking away TV time from my favorites. You can go.
Pretty much. It's much more enjoyable.
Well, and I do have to say, like Cedric, like I like Cedric. He's just like so likable.
Yes.
Like everyone loves an underdog. Everyone, which is why, and this is what the meatheads don't realize, is everyone loves an underdog. That's why people are automatically not going to like the Meathead Alliance. But but so it's just like it's in our.
Usually they're the ones they don't have a chance, Shandy. Everyone picks on them.
I know.
He's getting picked on.
Let me take out my very small violin. But Cedric as being like the Queen of Ponderosa and being, because we always talk about how the first person who starts the jury kind of sets the tone. And I'm like, what tone is this going to be with Cedric over there as the first member of the jury? Like that's interesting. A lot of times it's like somebody who has like a lot of fire and is like really pissed off, but it like Cedric is kind of a nice guy.
It's like hi everybody.
He really does. He does like when he was sitting there during Tribal, it really did look like he was just like watching Survivor on TV, just chilling out. What are they going to bring me today?
Yeah, he didn't even really come in with. He didn't come in with his resting asshole face that most people do.
Yes,
yeah.
There's no salt.
Sorry, we're not supposed to swear.
There's no salt on that face of his at all. He's all like, "Oh, my friends, hello."
Big happy smile and a wave. I wouldn't be surprised if he just like pulled a bag of snacks out of his pocket. Like,
because seriously, anybody he was aligned with is pretty much gone. Like who's he going to root for? Mary? Like they're all these original tribe members are all gone. So he can just sit there and just go like, okay, you idiots, let's see how you're going to do this.
Truly, it is like he's just watching it at home on TV.
He's just chilling. I kind of feel like I saw relief on his face. Like I'm not even mad, guys. Like I have a bed. You saw me in the challenges. I didn't love it.
Can I just say that would be me in the challenges? So like Cedric, you're awesome.
Yeah, I like to poke fun, but I know deep down, like I would embarrass myself. I would be like the Carolyn where I just like somehow removing my pants is going to make me better at this game. Like I would be so senseless.
That's a thing a human person did.
No, like Carolyn, a couple seasons back, she literally like in her frustration. I mean, she had swimsuit bottoms on underneath. Yeah. But she just all of a sudden just like ripped off her pants and then just kept doing the same thing she was doing as if it was her pants holding her back.
Yeah, like they were like somehow like
too much drag.
Yeah. I'm not fast enough.
Must be the pants.
It's very odd, but
yeah, I am not athletic, so I can laugh, but I know I'm just laughing at myself. Realistically, I know better. So they got some tree mail, and looks like they had to pick buddies for a competition. That whole like pick a buddy, but we're not going to tell you what it's for. I would hate that. That would make me really nervous. But there was some interesting picks. There was a couple of partnerships that we weren't really expecting, like Shaheen jumping on that right away, but it kind of comes in later as like a problem for his buddies, right? Mm-hmm. Like,
which is like they were trying to throw shade on him, unbeknownst to him, obviously, and now like he's kind of blown up their spot. But I was gonna say Shaheen's somebody that I also really like.
Yes, same.
But I don't know. Like we've seen him make some mistakes and make some like him thinking that he is super tight with Camilla. The episode after Camilla was trying to sow some doubt about him was like, oh, I don't know what this means for his game, but I do like him. Also, he has the most amazing beard.
Yeah,
right?
I think he takes care of it. Like
it's so curly.
It's really well maintained, which seems
I don't know. My husband's
really,
amazed every day. He's every single time he sees him, each episode, the first things out of his mouth is like,
it
that's
must
just
be
so much beard. It's so thick.
It must be something about being on the island with like all the extra sweat and oils from your skin.
Oh yeah,
or something.
Naturally.
All those like coconuts. He's just like,
because in Australia Survivor, we see amazing beards all the time.
It's just a thing.
He's just kind of like, some people, if they have like that curly hair, it does really good on the beach.
Some nice beards. Beach beards.
Exactly. It's like the island hot that they get like after your hair, like after all of the shampoo and product like is no longer there, and your natural oils take over. And
I always think
Shandy,
it's kind of like
there.
I think it's kind of funny when they do like reunions, or you see them after the show, because they don't really do reunions anymore. But it's like the guys, like when you see the girls and they're all dressed up and their hair's done, you're like, oh, they look really pretty. That's nice. They look lovely. And then the guys come out and their beach beards are gone and they're all cleaned up. And I'm like, ugh.
No. What you look like under there?
Who's that?
You were better on the island. That happens all the time. The guys. You get so used to like their very like cute little like pointy little goatee or something that they got going on that grows in and then afterwards you're like, no. Dude, no.
And maybe beard back on your face.
Maybe they have like kinds of jobs where they can't maintain that facial hair, but
some people wear the beach better than others, I guess.
Yeah, I would not.
Is the point of all this?
I would be a Red Lobster all the time.
Oh yeah,
same.
I mean, they must let them have sunscreen.
They do, I believe so.
Okay,
yeah, they have like
still get like suntan lines by my eyes from all the squinting I would be doing all the time because the sun would just it's too much.
No sunglasses. Yeah,
right.
But even like the thing is, even with the sunscreen, it's like for
the amount of time.
Maybe all of us ladies on this particular podcast, like you have to reapply a lot.
Every hour on the hour.
Like, they have like a little station you run over. They've got like a paintbrush and they just like swipe you up and down real quick. Turn as you turn with the sunscreen. Because
I mean, honestly, I would kind of hope so because it's not something you can easily apply to yourself, like on the back. You know,
right? You always miss something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you know your alliance is strong. If they're, I would sunscreen my back.
No one's drawing like
you trust.
Yeah, you got your sunscreen. You start drawing, like inappropriate pictures.
Yeah,
liar right across her back.
Not that I would ever do such a thing.
My husband has a really funny, not safe for work story about that. Maybe I'll tell it on broadcast. It involved a trip to Spain, a friend falling asleep on the beach on his stomach, and waking up with something on his back that he didn't know was there.
Yeah.
Which then stays like until
it fades.
Until it fades.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of room for shenanigans when you give somebody something like sunscreen and you're bored and you're hot and you're tired. I'm really surprised it hasn't. I wonder if it's not like a threat right off the bat. Like, if you do this, you're out of here. Jeff doesn't threaten them with Big Brother. He probably threatens to send them to the Big Brother house if they do any of that.
But maybe they don't let them have the sunscreen. Like, here, you come here and I will do it like a child. And then I keep the sunscreen and you walk away. Goodbye.
Next.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't care if somebody like drew something funny on my back with sunscreen. I wouldn't care about the thing they drew. I would just care that like my skin is getting burned.
I'm just not getting the proper sun protection.
Exactly.
Draw what you will. I just don't want to burn. Yes.
Even like sun hats. Like, you don't see them like I get like not during like
right,
like challenges not being able to wear a hat, but like we're just like hanging out on the beach.
Like, I think they used to have hats more often until players started just stealing people's hats and burning them when they weren't looking.
Oh, that did happen. Yeah,
that apparently became a weird move that some players like to do.
Because what, you're jealous because you didn't think to bring your own dang hat? Like, why does everyone bring a hat? Why are we burning hats? Don't be jealous. Plan better.
It is 2025. The planet is literally melting. Like,
right.
Hat.
What are you doing?
Okay, true. But wasn't it Russell Hance's hat? And in that case, like, yeah, you can burn it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
in Russell
right.
Hance's hat,
Yes.
there was no sun protection on that at all.
That's
maybe
true.
just his bald spot, but the brim was like, he
Yeah.
wasn't.
That was all fashion, no function, right?
Mm,
Like,
yeah, it's just one of those like douche hats, you know what I mean? That kind of were popular for a little bit, where you saw someone wearing those, you go, oh, I know what's up with you. No, they need
I
a
get your
big,
vibe.
wide, floppy island hat, a la White Lotus.
Yes.
They need the
That's
big.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think we need to petition that in the next vote. I think we need to add that as a vote option.
Yeah.
Shall
they'll
there be
never-
a hat day? Yes, a hat day, please.
Make it a reward. Everyone gets a
Hat day.
hat.
Everyone gets a hat.
Swear that's how great things
saying.
happen. As on hat day. Now, when the tree mail arrived, like I'm not even paying that much attention to the tree mail because they're having this important discussion. Like the dude bros, right, are talking about what animal they could take in a fight.
Oh my God.
Also, some of the best television I've ever seen.
I forgot about this.
I need to know, like, what animal, guys? What animal do you think you could like logistically take in a fight?
A squirrel.
Like for real? Like no.
Yeah, yes,
no, their
yes.
teeth are very tiny and sharp.
Yeah.
kind of
And they do
intimidating.
sometimes carry the plague.
Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't go for a
Squirrel
rat.
plague, yes.
A rabbit?
Maybe a rabbit.
Oh, but I wouldn't
No,
want to.
but see, they're too cute. They're
No,
too
I'm
cute.
saying in my head, I'm hearing take down, like you're gonna grab it and like wrestle it to the ground and just cuddle with it.
Have you seen Watership Down? You need to rethink this.
Okay.
Rabbits
I don't know,
can be
but I
tough.
know it would not be a hyena.
Yeah,
That was very
a hyena?
random.
And a
can't
gorilla,
fight a hyena,
really?
dude.
A gorilla?
gorilla,
You're gonna
no.
run in there and hit it and then get
No.
away in time, you think?
No way.
You are
crazy.
like this compared to the gorilla. Doesn't matter how jacked you are.
Yeah,
That gorilla is
yeah.
like 5 of you.
I
Sorry.
might be able to hold my own against like a sloth or something,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, no one's
It's also
taking
like those claws, like the I don't know.
That's
especially
true.
the where there's
But
3
they're
of them.
coming at you slowly.
It's like,
Yes. You can dodge.
You have
It's
you
like
have a
Dune.
lot of
You
time
cannot
to grab your
penetrate,
hat and
right?
run.
Do it really slowly, and then I stick my claws in you. You will get through your shields.
Well, I promised Brian H that I would ask that question because he genuinely wanted to know who would you take down. So there you have it, Brian.
There's no scenario. Like I feel really bad, even like picturing an animal. Then I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, if it was self-defense, like
Yeah, you
yeah,
don't want to
like
hurt him.
I know vaguely what to do in certain scenarios against certain animals, but that doesn't mean I would survive it.
I feel like any animal that I would feel the need to protect myself for, I feel like I would just run away because otherwise I'm just dead.
yeah.
So
Right.
clearly,
like,
we're gonna
if
fight
it's-
anything that's gonna try to attack us.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I'm like, if
I'm
it's like a
not
mountain
doing
lion, you
anything.
can't just run away.
Yeah, I'm not.
It
Yeah,
will,
Not
I'm
really.
not
it
winning
will
that.
take you down.
No.
No,
Or
we're
like a
not.
bear. Like these are the things. That's
No,
just like
mm-mm.
things like in your environment that you have encountered before, or maybe not encountered, but it's like in our environment. That's where I was like, he went hyena? Like that's not even on this continent.
You would have to
seen
really
hyena?
go out of your way to fight that animal.
And you know what? We know that the hyenas are mean anyway. We all saw Lion King. You don't want to fight them.
Exactly.
No.
No.
Then they'll just laugh at you when you're
Yeah,
dead.
Right?
Not even the dumb
As they're
one.
kicking your butt, they're laughing.
It's bad enough to get killed, but then they mock you openly.
Oh, man.
No, not a good choice. You can't beat a hyena. This is a fact.
Yeah.
So
But
okay.
how does that even come up? Does that come up because there's the Meathead Alliance?
I
And
think
to be
so.
fair,
I feel like,
I do enjoy some of those
Yes.
men. So I don't mean to be like,
but I feel like
completely
they're like,
derogatory
dude,
call them Meathead Alliance, but
this
you know,
is like, what do you lift? You know, at some
Yeah,
point,
yeah,
what
yeah.
do you lift becomes the topic of discussion.
Mm.
But I think that these
Do you
guys have
even
enough,
fight
you
with
know, like-
animals, bro?
right? Exactly. Can you even take down a gorilla like I could?
Oh, my
No, I
God.
think it's totally like summer camp mentality. You know, like when you're in the bunk at like quiet time, and you're just like it's talking about just ridiculous things because you're like a tween and you have
Yeah.
freedom. Like I feel like it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Listen,
they are
You know,
really
they're all just
goofy.
tired and hungry and delirious, and they're
And
just like,
I will to build on what Shanny was saying. I will say is all the like the meathead alliances that have ever existed in these competition reality shows, like this one's probably actually the most down to earth and likable.
Oh yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
Listen,
totally.
You know?
Listen,
So,
I have 5 kids and 4 boys, and those are conversations that have come out of the backseat many times.
Yeah,
those very conversations. It's literally things they talk about. You know, who's better, Spider-Man or Superman? Like, you know, those things. But then it gets into animals.
yeah, I could totally take down a cheetah.
What kind of aquatic animal do you think you'd outswim? The answer is none, boys. Can you guys be quiet back there?
You are a land animal. You cannot compete.
No. Sorry, do you have flippers? No.
Sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So this challenge that they had was kind of weird because it was a fun challenge, but like they laid a lot of stakes on this whole thing because it was like you get the immunity and tacos. And then there's like there's 3 parts to it. And then the first 2 groups out are going to have to go on a journey where they may or may not lose their vote.
Yep.
And then they already had these like questionable partnerships. This was like a very tangled up, like
this had more
so much,
layers
so many
onion,
things.
You know, it was just too many parts.
So many, so many things happening.
Yeah. And I thought it was kind of interesting the 3 groups that result from it. I kind of liked seeing that. We did again have people potentially losing their vote without getting an option, but it was also because they lost in the challenge and then it was only one of them. So that was like
a little better than the dice.
Yeah, better than the dice rolling. Yes, and there was like strategies of the game and all of that. I would be interested to see at some point like some sort of challenge like that where if you're going to have to make them pick partners, then to actually make it so there might be some advantage to a mismatched partnership, like not just the 2 strongest people pairing up, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe again, I say that as somebody who would be like the weaker one out there, but
maybe have part of the challenge would be like it would be really beneficial to be a much smaller person or a much larger person.
To be fair, that is how it ends. That is how it ends. Because that challenge is
that holding on to the pole thing. The big guys never do good on those kinds of endurance.
Well, the first part of the challenge where they had to climb through and grab that piece and pull it through.
Oh, the stand.
Mitch and Camilla were the first 2 through. Because they're the smallest.
Right.
They were the first ones through.
Mm-hmm.
But then they lost that lead immediately because the next part wasn't suited for them. So
I liked how they had to take those planks and then like put them on the rope and make the bridge, but it made me really nervous. And then was it Chrissy's team? Like they fell and I literally I yelled and then I got laughed at by my teenager.
I thought the board broke. I thought I was like, oh no, that's so dangerous. That's so dangerous. I'm
like, oh my God, their shins. They're never going to lock again. Someone's going to get real hurt here, Jeff.
Oh,
Somebody's going to get hurt out there. Where's the medic?
It was a pretty fun challenge overall, but it was like the complication of all those layers. I was like, wait. That's where I would be like, can we write it down? Can you repeat it? Wait, what? Like, I wouldn't have been able to in that moment. I don't think I just been like, whatever, just tell me where to go. And that's what I'm doing. Point the way.
You just, it's like, you just focus on that first part and then do the second part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you got, so the group that had to go and do that, like red ball, gray ball thing was Shaheen, Camilla, Star, and Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what you guys thought about this. The whole time I was getting like really frustrated because I did like that there's some strategy involved in that game, but I was getting like really frustrated because this is one of those things when you're the viewer and not in the game, you want to yell through the TV and I want to be like, work together. It doesn't matter who loses their vote. You can vote out who you want. Like, you all have one other person. Well, except for Star, but I think, she could still work within this group if they just stopped and talked about, hey, who do you guys want out? Like, who cares who loses the vote? Let's work together.
Well, were they given that time beforehand, or was it one of those things where it's like you read the instructions and now go?
I mean, I would imagine it's probably that because that makes for better television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would have been cool if they would have talked beforehand, because I think they could have made like a gentleman's agreement or whatever, gentlewoman's agreement, where they could have said, listen, we're all going to pick up the very next ball. We're all going to do, we're going to let fate decide who gets the 3 balls. Let's go. Then there's nobody's getting ticked off. And then while they're just placing balls, they could be strategizing and talking all they want. Because
I felt like it was such a missed opportunity. And I mean, and I'll admit, part of me like having this pounding in my head is because this is the group I want to see working together. You know, like
but are they? So that's the Yeah.
And that's the downer.
I mean, who is
happens all the time.
I don't know if Star is working with anybody. She's just like there.
You know,
occasionally she has the room to crack a really great.
She's like, here, like, take my idol. Go ahead.
You got no vote. You got nothing but time.
You know what though? I kind of like that these things keep kind of like not going her way, but not really like hurting her that she's the next one voted out or anything like that. She's not in any danger, but that makes she's never a threat to anyone either. She just gets to really sit back,
which means we get more time to enjoy Star.
So it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
All right, she can stay.
Yeah.
I hate it though when you have like a group of people and all you want them to do is like realize like you guys are the coolest. You totally need to be friends. Like, I need you guys to be friends, but I need you to be my friend, please.
Like, you don't step on. You guys need each other. We're trying to tell you through the TV. It doesn't matter that this was 6 months ago. It doesn't matter.
You got this. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and pause for 5 seconds so that we can put in a commercial break here. So we'll be back in 5 seconds. Okay, I think that was 5 seconds. I didn't count. Did anybody else count?
That was about 5 seconds.
All right. Well, okay, so they didn't come together and make a plan to go after one single person. But while they are playing this game, Chrissy and Kyle are talking and they are saying that the big guys got to go. Chrissy keeps talking about all the big guys gotta go. And she's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
No,
that
she's not
is
wrong.
The stupidest part. She knows what she's talking about. And she's still there. And you know what plan she wants to go. So if you like that plan, run to Chrissy and go, yo, girl, we're going to do this, right? I think you're right. But no one will do it. So they'll get, never mind. Continue. Sorry.
But the problem is that
here.
I think one of the biggest problems that Chrissy has in this idea, like really the only real issue, because she is right in a lot of ways, is that she's never telling the people that aren't the big guys that. There are like a whole handful of not big guys. Go talk to them.
Yeah.
Like
And
tell them the big guys gotta go.
And I also feel like she needs to actually say the names of the big guys she's talking to, because I don't think it's as many as the guys think it is. Like, sorry, Kyle, I'm not talking about you. You know what I mean? I think there might be a little bit of that. Like, just say who you're talking about. So someone might agree.
Kyle, you're not one of the big guys. You're more one of the medium guys, but you are the gateway to the big guys. So we need you to get on board, okay?
Talking about you. We're talking about David. Shh.
Colleen says hello from Japan.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
In the future.
I don't know. I could say like
weird.
What? Domo arigato. No, that's not right.
Yeah. And Colleen, what is tomorrow like?
What does tomorrow feel like?
What does tomorrow look like?
It's probably not any better than today.
No, probably not.
Realistically, yeah.
So so I'm thinking about this because there were 10 of them left at this vote, so they would need 6, and therein lies the problem. So if it's Chrissy, and obviously Mitch is not in that group, Star is not in that group either, but now she's just lost her vote, so that sucks. It's apparent, I think, by this point that Mary's with Joe, so that's not going to work. But even if Chrissy, like, she's probably thinking Camilla, maybe doesn't know that Kyle's with Camilla, but let's say she's somehow pulls him in anyway. We're still at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of which one doesn't have a vote. That's only 4. Need to get Shaheen for sure.
Yep.
Although he's also in the,
depending on who they picked, I think Shaheen would go for it though.
I think Shaheen could have been workable. Yeah, especially if now that he's like thinks he's besties with Camilla, if she was going that way, I think that could work. But like, you're still, again, that's still It's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but one of them doesn't have a vote, so 5. So
math.
Yeah.
You were not counting Kyle in that, right?
3,
Right.
4.
Okay.
Oh no, I was counting Kyle in that. So
Because
actually,
I think you could count Kyle in that, and only because
okay.
based on what ends up happening, I think at that point then they could have said, "Hey,
Yes.
let's do this thing instead."
No,
Because
so okay, I think now that I've recounted, even without Star's vote, it would be Mary, David, Joe, and Eva that would have been outside of the vote.
Yep.
So they would have had the votes. But then I think the problem, honestly, is that Kyle doesn't want to blow up his spot quite so early with the big 5, the strong 5, the
strong
you can
5.
keep calling them
dudes.
the Boudreaux. It's all right.
The big guys.
The big guys plus Mary, the big guys plus
the strong
1.
6 they keep calling themselves.
The strong 6. Yeah.
No, maybe a strong 5. Maybe sometimes
it's strong 5 plus Mary.
Plus
they
Mary,
should call themselves.
We can pull her in.
They should call themselves something about Mary.
Oh. Yeah, well,
that's what I would suggest.
Somebody said there's something about Mary. Yeah. But
yeah,
because who are they considering the 5 guys? It's Shaheen, Kyle, Joe,
Eva,
David. Are they're considering Eva already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eva's in their 5.
So Eva, because Eva originally wasn't it? Originally it was just guys, right?
Yeah, it was the California girls.
Well, but that was, I mean,
they lost Thomas,
3 people, and that,
yeah.
Well, in any case, yeah, I think Kyle and Camilla were nervous to jump ship, so to show their hand at this.
Then they're silly because the way that he made Kyle feel. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No, you're
the
okay.
way he made Kyle feel bad for. Why don't you listen? You're telling everybody you have Mary and Joe's got Eva.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I have somebody?
Yeah, why can't I have a friend, David?
Well, he doesn't want to tell. He doesn't, and I get that he doesn't want to tell David that Camilla's his person.
Right. That's their secret weapon, right? Like nobody knows about us.
No, it is. It is
like good, amazing how nobody knows.
But I feel like just through
it's kind of ridiculous. I think
all of that talk,
cool.
I just feel like
it's fun to watch.
Kyle was in a good spot to turn on David right there, and he could have got a lot of people to go with.
Yes,
but
I think.
Well, but it sounds like they.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that Kyle probably would have made a little more headway if rather than just sitting there butting heads with David, he talked to the others individually. Like having a public display of headbutting, wasn't going anywhere because Kyle wasn't going to back off of it and David wasn't backing off of this plan.
Well, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like why he was so adamant that it had to be Camilla.
Because he's convinced, and see, this is actually also why Kyle probably is not telling the full story, because the whole reason that David wanted to go after Camilla is because David is convinced after the challenge that Shaheen has something going with Camilla. Yep. So and even though Shaheen is in the 5 guys, the big 5 alliance, he doesn't want Shaheen to have a side piece, and so Kyle can't be like, well, actually, she's my person.
You can't have her because she's my friend.
We're a throuple now, okay? Sorry. But again, when he grabbed onto Mary, he didn't have any problem telling them that Mary was now part of the group. It's like the lead singer, his girlfriend gets to hang out with the band. But all the other band members, your girlfriends have to stay. They can't come on the bus. Sorry.
They don't get to be on the bus. They're lucky they get to be in the studio at all.
I feel like he's just a metaphor for big, handsome white men everywhere. It's like, well, what do you mean someone has a different opinion from me? What do you mean? What do you mean we wouldn't go with my plan? My plan is the only plan. How did someone else have a plan?
Why do you have a problem with my plan?
What do you mean?
At the end of the day, Kyle did get his way. It just wasn't, and that's where I think, and maybe Kyle was right. Maybe it would have been too much to then maneuver everything back on to David when they're supposedly like still keeping up this alliance, like the appearance of an alliance. Whereas at least with the Chrissy thing, he has a plausible reason because he's been telling Joe, and it's actually true, that Chrissy wanted to get Joe out. So it like makes sense to everyone in the alliance why you would go that way.
Yeah. I really loved like, okay, so last week at the tribal when Chrissy was, being very public about her opinions that these big guys need to go, and you're like, you're right, but reel it in. All the like the facial expressions that you were getting from Joe, like you can read his face, let's just say. And then
he's not deep is what you're saying. I get
when
it.
Kyle is like, she mentioned your name. The same face is back in action, like, and then I don't know how set the vote was before they went to tribal, whether anybody was, wasn't quite sure or not, but then she like literally did the same thing she did at the last tribal, and then Joe's sitting there making the same faces again.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my God, like, even if you had a chance, you just threw it in that fire. Like,
it's a strange strategy.
It is. It's
but you know what? We've seen many seasons where there's somebody like, and I liked Chrissy on paper. I liked her in her pre-interview. I've liked her. And again, she is not wrong. So I almost feel like she's not really a threat because she is so vocal. It's like, she's like a useful, I don't want to say idiot in the tribe, but do you know what I mean? Like, we could just kind of keep her around for numbers. So how are they going to come after any of them now when they have even less numbers? When you start picking off the people you could use at some point, that
is those numbers like going down now. It does kind of get complicated because Star's going to get her vote back, so we got Star. But then there's Camilla, Mitch, Kyle, how many is that? And Shaheen, like, again, they'd have to, if they can pull together that group. I don't know how much that group is like doing anything together, but if they can pull that group together, they can still vote out any of those four of those two pairs.
Yeah. And I think going forward, I kind of feel like just this last episode showed us that Camilla, Mitch, and Star are like a voting block. I feel like the three of them are going to be a voting block together for a hot minute at least.
You mean Camilla, Mitch, and Kyle?
Star and Kyle too. Kyle too, but like I feel like Star found her place within that triangle.
Which is, you know what, like she has so much grace because she could have been really pissed about how things went with the game, but she just kind of like took it in stride and like like,
I didn't have a vote.
That's a bummer. She's like, Camilla could have saved me, but she didn't. But then like
at the same time,
then I'll vote with her. Like,
and nobody was voting for her, so maybe it was like it just didn't matter if she had a vote or not. Yeah, we're not voting for you, so you're fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like that trio. I'm assuming that they could have Kyle there if Kyle's ready to make a move with Shaheen. But do you think Kyle's, even if it's Camilla, do you really think Kyle's going to go, I'll take one of my own out, like right now?
Yes.
You think he's ready to do it?
Well, I think he will be ready soon, but I think whatever moves they make, I think Kyle and Camilla are going to make them together.
I would love if the two of them were the ones at the end, just because we so rarely get such a satisfying like story.
Yes.
That would have everything. Like somebody kept a secret. Oh my God, and it worked out for them. Yes, finally.
I don't think it'll be a secret to the end, though.
No, I don't think it can be. Like I don't think there's a way. So for feedback this week, I am not in the email, but we did get feedback via Messenger from Mandy. And Mandy has a few questions for everybody.
Oh boy.
Okay, so the votes are up. CBS put up the new votes for how we want season 50 to go. And she is very curious on which way all of us would vote on this. And she said that Amanda, specifically, your opinion would be super interesting as someone who's only watched the twisty version of this game just most recently. So the things that are up for vote are, the first one is, in season 50, give them their camp supplies at the beginning of the game, or make them earn their camp supplies? What do you guys think?
I don't care.
I feel like if we're going to vote about things, that's like the least important to me, but
most of these votes have been kind of unimportant, but to be fair.
I was gonna vote on like one of the earlier episodes, like towards the very beginning. I was like, oh, I should get on and vote. And then I was like, oh, I actually like, I don't care. And so I'm definitely not giving them my email address or whatever. Just like
you can't have it, it's mine.
Not my data.
I mean, on this, whenever there's an opportunity to compete for something, I usually will go that way just because like it just raises the stakes of each competition, gives them something to like be happy about when they win. So I don't mind that. So I said let them compete for it.
But it does open up like the opportunity to like do something different.
Yes.
That if you give them this thing that you usually make them work for, it's like now that opens up an avenue for something the show doesn't do normally. And like that is interesting.
Right.
For many, many years, it was kind of like, we're on a boat, there's the shore, grab as much stuff as you can, throw it in the water, jump out, grab it, and tow it to shore with you. And that was kind of fun.
But don't bring Brandon because don't bring Brandon because he can't climb a ladder.
He's ruined it. I don't think they've done it since then, have they?
No, they haven't.
No, because he couldn't. He literally, grown man, could not pull himself up a rope ladder.
No, he couldn't.
Could not get the leverage to pull himself up. So he was just like, it was really bad.
It's tough times.
Like I live here now. His back.
Yeah, that was a rough go. It depends. To me, it's like if you're going to separate us into 3 tribes, and it's going to be a short game, like not like the 30 some days, then I kind of just want them to give them their supplies because I'm sort of tired of one tribe just getting wiped out because they don't have fire or food or whatever.
Well, you bring up a good point about the 3 tribes. I think with the shortened season, it shouldn't be 3 tribes. I think it should be definitely 2. If you're less time on the beach together playing, then you need to be 2 tribes so you can get to know the people, more people from the get-go.
Yeah, get to know them all. Yeah.
Then they might have like stronger.
Because there usually is like one tribe we don't really meet until merge because they're not going to tribal.
One gets like cleared out. And then they get shuffled sometimes into 2, and then it's I don't know. I think it would be good if it would just start at 2.
Yeah, give them a canopy and give them some food, and let's just be tough right from the beginning. Like let's just keep the momentum from there.
Yeah.
The next question up for vote is, do you want to keep the twist? So it's either I don't like the twist, keep them rare, or I love the twists, bring them on.
I think they're fun. I like twists. But also, like everything's a twist for me because I like don't have a history of the show. I'm like, oh boy,
oh, something new. Yeah.
They don't tell me that this is something they do every season, or this is like a big like Survivor. Like
Jeff looks at the camera. We do this every single season, and here it is again.
Holding on to a pole. Like I wouldn't have known that was a big thing had they not told me.
I mean,
I would have just been like,
classic Survivor.
Right.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care how many twists they are. I care about the quality of the twist.
Yes.
I do care, however, when things seem to be advantages come into people's hands a little too easily. Those are not twists. Did you guys did you see it?
Yes. Are you talking about the scroll in Eva's bowl?
Yeah.
The scroll in the bowl?
That's so rhymey. I didn't like it. Sorry. My apologies.
And so people are saying that, well, that's a setup. And then other people are going, well, no, because it said to reward you for your efforts. Though everybody there had put in significant effort, right, to get to the meal.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Do you think that was a pre-designed thing, or do you think they were like,
it was absolutely pre-designed
by Eva?
The spaces there had their names there where they were supposed to sit.
Yeah, they were placed marked. Yeah.
They have pictures where Eva's sitting, there's a little placard in front that says Eva, and like each one of them has their own spot. So like they clearly knew who was going to be sitting there and reaching into that specific bowl of chips. Because each one of them had their own.
A little bit of a conspiracy, yeah.
So then do you think maybe they each had an advantage and it was just like, let's see who is like observant enough to find it?
No. She had one, and only her. I'm sure of it.
Oh, I don't like it. That's not as much fun.
I don't like that. I feel like the show is editing for us to really like Eva and trying to really push it on us. And
Does that mean she's gonna win?
I'm gonna be the bad guy here who says I don't like Eva.
I don't love her. She's not my favorite.
I don't like her. I understand her struggles, but that doesn't mean that she can't be a not so nice person.
Yeah, she's not my favorite. I'm a root for her to do a great job and have a wonderful experience, but she's not who I'm rooting for. Yeah,
where she was like mocking somebody, like going running and telling people what somebody said.
You have tacos, Eva. You have tacos. Be nice.
I will say, I know I was listening to Alice and Martha talk about this season a little bit on the Real Word Sisters patron cast. And they pointed out a really good point that Eva in like the first episode talks about how she doesn't really have any female friends and how that's a huge red flag. And I definitely agree with that. That is a huge red flag. I like her story, but I agree.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think she's a tough cookie.
With her struggle, right?
Yeah.
But, right. And yeah, she's tough. But I think it comes off as like one-dimensional, right? That's all she is tough.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the moment that she does get to bond with somebody that's not one of the guys, and I think that is going to be a turning point.
Can she relate
maybe
to
in life in
of
general,
physicality.
Yeah, because she's also really, really stinking smart. You know, she's more than top.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see her game start to be more outwit. Like, okay, we know you can outplay. Like, we got that, and I want to see this this part of you. Well, and then I will be like, get it, girl.
I would also like to see her social game be a little better. Like, I get it. Everybody knows you and Joe are a thing. He might have to get a divorce.
What happens? What happens if Joe goes?
Okay.
I mean, she would not be the first player. We see it all the time where somebody's like, they have an alliance member who and the alliance member is a decent person. They're a decent person, but there's always this like thing that holds back, and that safety net goes away, and then their game skyrockets from there.
I mean, maybe
it's possible,
but you don't really see her spending any time getting to know anybody else, or they're just not showing it in editing.
But I feel like having Joe specifically, it's not that she just has an alliance member; it's that it's Joe whose social game is like top notch, and he's like Mr. Muscles, and he's like taking care of everybody. They're gonna it's always gonna make her a bigger target than she may or may not be.
True.
So if Joe goes away and she can continue to play, I feel like just because for whatever reason, I think they will keep her around thinking, well, we can get her later. And then she ends up in finals.
Then she keeps winning.
Yeah. I could see that being her line where they keep going, oh, she's not a threat yet because we got rid of Joe. And then she's sitting there talking to the jury at the end.
But if production is doing stuff to try to work that angle a little bit of like, oh, let's kind of push her a little bit more front and center and give her, make sure she's here longer. If they're doing that and then they're trying to give her a winner's edit of some sort, then I would think we would see all of her trying to be social with people, and they're just not showing that at all. So I just don't think that she is.
She's going to be in the final. You don't think she'll get that far?
No, I think that. No, I'm just saying I don't think her social game is there. They'd show it if it was there.
I mean, and she openly said at the beginning, like, that is going to be the biggest challenge for her in the game is her social game. Like, that's going to be hard. But she's got a good spot with Joe. She's got a good spot with David. Unfortunately, Joe's a huge target, and David is making himself become one hell of a social target, not because he's so good, because he's irritating people with all of his milk drinking, and you don't get to have your way.
He's kind of melting down in real time.
I feel like a person, I'm not going to yuck someone's yum. You want to drink all the milk you want? Dude, go for it. But don't be telling me that I can't do things that are good for my game.
Listen, I've heard about you and your milk habits, David.
Is your tummy gurgling over there? Stop being so cranky. I want to work with this person too. Okay, thank you.
Oh, these crazy people and their milk drinking. Okay,
I also thought it was funny that, is it a coincidence or is it like a cruel twist of fate that he loves milk so much and has 4 nipples? Is that like karma? Is that what we call karma? Maybe, I don't know.
Or maybe
one is the reason for the other.
I don't know. It's very odd, right?
Serendipity.
Strange coincidence.
An osmosis.
Now that you spell it out, it is a little strange.
Team Universe? I don't know.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Oh, this will be funny."
I keep forgetting that he has 4 nipples, and it's
I can't
awesome
unsee
every
it.
time I remember.
I even made a joke when they got up on the poles, and I go, "Oh, he's got extra friction, so maybe he will stay up there a little longer." Extra nubbins.
Who couldn't use an extra set?
Sorry.
Okay, Mandy continues. Amanda, as a vegetarian, please tell me what is in a vegetarian taco.
Well, could be a whole host of things.
Jackfruit, shredded jackfruit.
Jackfruit, which is not my personal favorite, but beans, but like tofu, like tofu sofrita. Suppose you could do more of a like fajita style with just the veggies.
Yeah.
I like that.
I've seen like the mushroom tacos. You sort of like grill strips of mushroom so that it kind of resembles like carne asada.
Listen, if you season it right, I'll eat it. I don't care, right? It's all about the season.
She's good for it. She also wants to know what are other iconic challenges I'd love if Sumo at Sea or Schmergen Brawl were to come back. Well, I've got news for you, Mandy, because Jeff has decided that there will be no more Sumo at Sea.
Breaking news. Jeff Probst announced.
Or a violent wrestling or endurance challenges at all.
Wow, I forgot about those.
Yeah, no endurance challenges, no combat challenges.
So what exactly is like an endurance challenge? Because to me, like holding onto a pole or like holding onto a bucket for like a long period of time, that is an endurance challenge. Like, so if that's not what we're calling endurance, like what are we calling an endurance challenge?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure like what his explanation was.
Challenge?
Like running up a mountain? Is that
do you guys remember that?
And then there'll be a puzzle at the end.
It's a race to the top of the mountain, then you do a puzzle, then you race back down.
There's a challenge in like the single digit seasons, like way long time ago, and there was an Ian who let go, but it was after hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Do you remember that? Is that what he's talking about? Nothing that takes half a day.
Well,
yes, that's one version of an endurance challenge, and they used to have a lot more of those. AU, it's the last challenge is always an endurance challenge. And
like especially
like 3 hours or something.
Oh my god!
When you're gonna have a final 2, and then the last challenge is like who wants it the most.
Leave it all on the table. You know,
that's the way they used to do it. Now I don't have anybody coming to me that gives me any information that tells me this is a fact. This is all assumption, but I am assuming that since they film on an actual like lot like that they use every single year now, I bet that there's some rules and regulations to like how long they can film in a certain location, how long they can be out at certain places. And I kind of think that like Jeff does this thing that rather than saying, well, because we're locked in Fiji and this is what we're doing every season, now we have a limited amount of time and we can't do these things, and instead tries to spin it like this is all a new Survivor and it's crazy and great and everybody loves it.
And it's because we chose to do it.
So wait, so it's always in Fiji
now?
Lately,
for
many years.
It didn't even occur to me that the rest of season.
They stopped traveling. They're like,
so at the same beaches
now.
Yes.
Oh, it didn't even occur to me.
People from previous seasons will now watch and be like, "Oh, that was my beach." Like,
which is why I think it's
that
fair. It's not fair because you'd think like they do 2 seasons back to back, right? That they film. So like that second season is everything super picked over because I
think they put more stuff in there.
They'll put more bands
twisty tie coconuts through the tree again.
They'll leave a pile of zip cord.
But I think
I think you were right. I think they do go back and
they have to, right?
It's all set dressing.
On the endurance challenges, they were saying while this one was going on, oh wow, this has changed. There's not footholds and there's not this. Maybe that's what he's talking about with the endurance challenge. It's like this is an endurance challenge, but it's not the endurance challenge that once was.
It's designed.
They're making it so hard that it's
designed to be done quickly.
Yes, I wonder if that's more what he meant with no more endurance and challenges. He doesn't want anything that's going to last 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
he has to stay out of the sun too, you know?
Yeah, it's bad TV. It's like, you know, then it's like you already know if they're standing there for like hours, like in a TV show, that's going to be like 3.5 minutes. So it's like you're just wasting footage. Like you just like turn the camera
hours
off.
for 3 minutes.
We love it.
Running tape.
I'm sure that it's costly, but it does make for more
intense editor. It's gonna log all that damn footage.
That's true, but I think it makes it. I think it also depends on what is the challenge and who are the players. Because there's a lot of things where someone could sit there and cling onto that pole for 2 hours and it's no fun. But if you have two people that like are after each other and whoever drops first is going home, that's really exciting. Like that's when the
really
stakes are higher. It's just so much more exciting. But again,
or when they start wheeling and dealing while they're up there, that's good too.
But still, it's exciting for 20 minutes. Like hours of that. Yeah. Not exciting.
I can see where it's very expensive.
So much sense.
Amanda with her bottom line. She knows.
She's crunching numbers of that. They cannot be on the beach anymore. We
Get
are over budget.
Some poor production manager is like, we got to wrap this day. This crew is about to go into overtime. We need to give them a meal break.
I've got union leaders on the phone. We got to do this.
We got to wrap up this challenge. We got to break this crew.
And then at the end, Mandy says, just vote David out. He won't even let Kyle speak. The underdogs messed up by losing Chrissy this early. She would have been a good one to keep around to put heat on the meatheads.
Thank you, Mandy. I agree. She would have kept calling them out until one of them went
She certainly would have. Because she did not learn from one tribal to the next.
Let her be let her stand there and be loud while you guys are all going, you know, she's right. And then,
but she did make a very interesting point on her way out is some people just had very poor jury management right then. She's not going to vote for them.
Camilla said
not going to sit quietly and have snacks with Cedric.
Oh, Camilla said that. Yes, Camilla said that. Yeah.
Snacks. I'm telling you, why is that?
But she was not wrong.
Jury snacks.
And by acknowledging the poor jury management to her, she's leaving going, that Camilla's pretty smart.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good job, Camilla. She knows how to game. She had my heart as soon as she rolled her eyes about Rob and said, he's overrated. There you go. You get it. You got this. All right. So let's really quickly just tally up. I did this ahead of time, so I'm just going to let everybody know where we're at on our tally of the votes. Okay, so Chrissy going home. We each ended up getting a point, Jack, Colleen, and myself. Colleen and I got a point for having her post-merge. Jack got a point for her being the next out, but had her gone at merge. So he just gets 1 point. So we each get 3 points. But we need to pick for who is the next out. And since I've got 3 of you here, I'm going to bow out on my choice. And Amanda, I am assigning you to make the choice for Colleen.
Oh, no. Oh,
Sandy,
for anybody. Oh, no.
Sandy, you're going to make the choice for Jack, and Christy, you're going to make the choice for me. So who's the next out?
I appreciate your trust.
Have you seen my points? You are not going to do me any
Okay. I think it'd really be funny if we all picked the person they wouldn't pick, but just to be funny, because pranksters and stuff.
You've been pranked.
I mean, I want to say David because I just feel like they're gonna be able to twist it around that he's got off the reservation and it's time for him to be done. Yeah, he needs to be done with this game. They'll still be fine. They still have the numbers. They don't need him, but for them to keep their game nice and tight.
Okay.
So I'm picking David for you, Jamie. Good luck.
All right.
I was thinking David too, so I don't know if
you can pick. We can double. It doesn't matter.
I was also thinking David.
Yeah, and I mean
next week,
but
really draws a point that he's.
And also, here's the deal: if he goes home, they all get a point. If he doesn't go home, none of them get a point. You guys, we just made it. We've made no enemies.
Yes, no blood on your hands.
I loved it. This alliance is strong.
It is strong. I will say though, the only thing is that the previews made it look like David is the next logical choice, which usually means that
know.
he's not. So, because David, I could see coming after Kyle, but again, I think the troops will rally around Kyle.
I think
Camilla
Kyle is like more likable.
Yeah,
he's
and
definitely
he's tight with Joe.
And he's got Camilla, so I think Camilla's,
they would figure a way out.
And I think Joe, because we didn't really talk about this, the way Joe came back to them and was like, yeah, Kyle, he's saying that why, but why? Why Camilla? I don't know. Like, Joe had no idea the reasoning for it. And then he's like, well, don't you think that's weird? Yeah, I think that's weird. Like, he's very easy to lead, it seems like. And I think that Kyle could get him to vote for David. Like, he's too weird.
He did say, like, Joe was like, yeah, I don't understand it either, but since they're all so gung-ho, like, I'm just gonna go with it.
Right.
Maybe if everyone gets real gung-ho against David, then I'll just go with it.
Like, oh well. Like, okay.
So is everybody picking David?
Yes. You go and you tell Joe, this is what you tell Joe. You say, listen, if David competes head to head against Eva, he's gonna beat her. Well, then he's gotta go. Joe will be like, he's gotta go.
There you go. There you go.
That's how you get her to do it.
That's such a good point, actually. Oh, yes. It's the Achilles heel of Joe is going after Eva.
Well, you know, we were talking a little bit about Eva's edit earlier, and I know, like, very early on in the season when they had their moment and whatever, and Joe even said, like, this might be to the detriment of my game, but I don't care. Like, is that a prediction that's going to come true? Like you were saying, Jamie, like, if once Eva is, you know, untethered from her tight bond, like, what's going to happen? You know, like, do we think that Joe's going to get taken out before Eva? And I would say probably, right?
I feel like,
because of that foreshadowing.
Yeah. I feel like he comes across as a bigger threat just all across the board. His social game and his athletic ability. On top of that, I feel like there are a handful of players that would be afraid to make a move against Eva because they would feel like they were doing her wrong. You know, like it's just, it is what it is, because that is such a big part of this season's story. They're going to be like, now somebody like Charity was like, I don't care, I'll cut her, let's go. You know, but those people are gone now. So who's going to be the one that's going to go, you know what, I'll do it. Going after Joe makes more sense.
I think the way it's going to happen is this. Whenever you have us in these seasons, people have their pairs, or people have that person that they're kind of like trust the most, but theirs is so obvious they're going to continue to be a threat, and they're going to want to break that up. If it gets to the point that they decide as a group one of them has to go, it will be whoever doesn't win them the necklace. Do you know what I'm saying? And she just beat all the boys.
Yep, that's true.
So he might be super physical and all of that, which he is, but she just beat him, even him.
Depends on the challenge, for sure.
It really depends on it. So if she continues to look that strong, I think they'll be ready to lose either one of them. Whoever.
I just think that when Joe does get voted out, it's got to be somehow not because of Eva, but like because of his relationship to fulfill the prophecy that he. That he said in the beginning.
Okay, well, but
and they're not just like a regular duo. Like you've got some people that duo up in this game, and you're like, okay, that's their ride or die. But like these two have already appeared as family,
twin power. Like
this is like a blood versus water situation at this point.
It is.
So they are really, truly dangerous. But on top of all of that, I could very easily see Joe falling on his own sword to protect her. So
100%.
I can. And that's how he's portraying himself as well. But I kind of wonder if Eva was not in this game, how would Joe be perceived differently? He wouldn't have been able to make such a big sacrifice for another player. He wouldn't have had this like Papa Bear protectiveness thing that everyone could see. He would have simply been a threat, and he might already have been gone.
Yeah, he would have lost some of his goodwill.
Yeah, he may very well have. All right, well, that pretty much brings us to the end. Is there anything else you guys wanted to cover before we close it out? We're good? We got it up? Okay. Well, ladies, it was fantastic to talk to each of you. Where can we find you outside of this alliance?
Oh my goodness.
She didn't let you pimp yourselves out a little
on the broadcast. Yeah, you can find us on the broadcast. That's where Shandy and I usually hang out.
Yeah, there you go. Christy, where can we find you?
Well, let's see. Usually at my house, but also
usually hanging at my house.
Usually over on Tally the Boats with Jamie and David, talking to any number of people, and we have some other stuff that we do over there too. We have some traders podcasts and stuff. But that's what we do. We really
all the reality TV.
We really have a problem. I mean, we're at like addiction level now, I think.
Whereas
Amanda's like the social reality TV like viewer. She's just like, hey, I'm just gonna do this so I can hang out with my friends. And, like,
I'm gonna check it out.
But like Jamie, we kind of have a problem. It might. I don't know.
We are like David and Milk. I'm gonna be honest. we can't live without it. We can't live without it.
We cannot. There must be competition. It's our sports ball.
And together we do have 4 nipples.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
TMI.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, I'm sorry that just went derailed. Everyone watching, if you haven't left yet and you haven't done so yet, please hit like and subscribe. We love to be here, and that helps us continue to do so. You can also find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts on the Jay and Jack Whole Enchilada feed. We would also like to give a shout out and a special thanks to the Jay and Jack patrons, especially those who contribute at a certain level, which is Eckhart Rickner, Magni the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, and Ed the Creepy Poopy Head Mailman. If you would like to be a patron, please go to patreon.com/JNJack. And then we're going to be back next week after I circle this shit back around and pick up Colleen and Jack. But until then, have a fantastic week, a wonderful Easter weekend, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night. See you guys.